Good morning, folks. I just departed Temagami on my way back home. Got a nice sunny day. It's supposed to be more cloudy, and there is some off to the south, but right here it's nice and sunny. I'm pleased with that. It's always pleasant to have a sunshiny day when you're driving and heading through this kind of beautiful country. I stopped briefly this morning, said goodbye to Mike and Gwen and Abby on my way back, and they just were very hospitable. Can't recommend them highly enough. They're just really a great family, and they run a very clean ship there with Leisure Island houseboat. If you get a chance, go visit them, rent one of their boats. They're 24-foot home-built catamaran-style hulls. They're very well designed for this lake and for the kind of outings that people, I think, are looking for. So I highly recommend it. I've made 2 trips myself previously on their boats. You need to book early though, because they are packed every season now, especially since COVID. Everybody and his uncle wants to get out there, so highly recommend it. It was 28 degrees this morning, 38 in the cabin. It was really cold. I got up, fired up the heater, and promptly got back into bed where it was warm. I waited 30 minutes. It still hadn't really come up much. It went up into the 40s, I think. And then before I even hit 60, it ran out of fuel finally in that 30-pounder. So I had to get out in the cold and get the 11-pounder back up and hook that up so I could finish heating up. But the good part of it is I got through the trip with a 30-pound tank, 19 days on the water, a couple days on the road, so 21 days. I still have one more night to go, so I'm hoping the 11-pounder will hold out. I used it a couple times, but because I use it on my fire ring, but it's also a good backup. So it's a beautiful morning. Colors have really come out since I came up, and of course the day I drove up it was rainy, cloudy and rainy, so it wasn't very pleasant for filming, but today is really nice, so you'll see a lot of colors. I'll do a little filming here on this segment of road and then pick up later as I get down the way. The old truck's holding out. It's like the little engine that could. It's a little underpowered for this load, but it does the job. There's a 6-speed transmission with tow haul capability and the ability to select gears, so I limit myself to 5 gears, and it seems to run at a decent RPM at that speed. So one thing I noticed in Canada, everybody drives over the speed limit. I don't think I've seen anybody driving the speed limit, which of course I do because I'm not from this country and I don't want to get stopped. So plus the truck really runs better at a slower speed. 55, 60 is just fine with me. Try to drive much more than that and the engine's working too hard. I don't think it's a good thing for it. Still some green around though. I'm seeing here this morning it's not a complete change of color yet, and we're into October, which is strange, especially given that they said the fall or the winter is supposed to come early this year. It has been real cold relatively, for late September, early October. Although it's not unusual to have freezes, but just even daytime temperatures haven't warmed up that much. A lot of days in the 50s, that kind of thing. Give you a little bit more color here as we go down the road. Okay, folks, as we speed up the pace of this video, I thought I'd talk about a couple of items that people might think about from time to time as they're looking at how I'm eating on board the boat, what kind of food I have. One thing is fresh salad. How do I keep salad fresh for the length of time, especially these longer trips? The key is to have quart jars that are vacuum packed of the salad. So I prepare the salad before I go, just a day or two, and I vacuum pack the salad in quart jars, which I refrigerate on the trip. And in this case, on the 3-week trip, it lasted for 14 days. On the 15th day, it turned bad and I couldn't use it anymore. But I was able to get 2 weeks out of that vacuum packed salad. So that's a key that I use, is it must be vacuum packed to last that length of time. Another one is bread. How do I keep bread fresh? Bread is bulky. To try to refrigerate or freeze all of that, it's just not practical for 3 weeks. And ciabatta, if you have fresh ciabatta, unless it's refrigerated or frozen, it'll turn bad in about 3 days. It just won't last. It has to be refrigerated or frozen. The solution I found was back in the day when I did a trip up to Great Slave Lake in the Northwest Territories of Canada. I was up there for a 7-week trip on a 18.5-foot sailboat with no motor, no refrigeration, no radios, no nothing. I was on my own and by myself, and I had to come up with ways to make food last as well as enjoyable to eat. So one of the things I looked at was how can I keep bread on a longer period of time. The key was King's Hawaiian bread. You probably see it in your stores around, and that bread is long lasting. I believe it was historically was developed for ships. And as long as you don't touch it, you keep it in bags, keep it dry, it will last pretty much indefinitely. It won't mold. The only mold I ever experienced on that trip, if I recall, was drops of water that dropped on the bread. But it is really a good bread to use on longer trips. And the key is to keep it dry and not touch any remaining loaves or rolls or whatever it is you're using. I used their butter rolls on this particular trip. So that's a couple of topics that you might think about. I'll talk about a few more here in a few minutes. All right, just going around Sudbury, Ontario right now. I thought about stopping for breakfast if there's a place here, or late breakfast or early lunch, whatever you want to call it. Not sure if there's a place I can get off here. I know there is one place that I got out before previous trips. I'll have to just watch here to see. I think it's called Paris Street. There's supposed to be a Perkins on that, but I don't know if that's off 17 or the road that goes right through town. Probably it's the one that goes through town, not the bypass. So we'll look for the sign, but I don't think it's going to be here because I don't remember ever seeing it before. So, and if I don't stop here, then I'll just wait until I get across the border and do it then. A lot of color change since I came up initially. This is a little bit more barren rock because it's, I think, been mined in the past. So it's not as much color showing here. But although there it is on that hill. All right, here's a street sign coming up. It just says Toronto or Sudbury. It doesn't tell us anything about the streets so we'll see, but I don't think there's any other place along in here. See what this sign says. 298, the border. So I think we'll just have to forget about it. Hello folks, I just been on the road a few minutes, stopped for lunch along the way here to the border. Still got about 150 miles to go. And the sun is still out. There's some high clouds, but very beautiful day. Hopefully that will continue to last. Been a very pleasant driving day because of there's not really any wind to speak of, and it's sunny in the 60s. It's a pretty pleasant day for fall in October. So I wished I'd had more of this on my trip, but sometimes that's how it goes. I think there was a hurricane that spit some weather from the East Coast up into my area, so that's kind of the reason it was that way. But anyway, just thought I'd give you a glimpse in this area of the country. We're really going along the north side of the North Channel of Lake Huron, to give you some idea where we're at. And like I said, we've still got about 150 miles to Ste. Marie, and it all follows along this the coastline of the North Channel. There's a whole slew of little towns that border the lake here. Sailed there several times many years ago. Very beautiful place to sail. So if you ever get a chance, go. Interesting terrain, a very unique part of this area of the woods. So highly recommend it. Anyway, that's enough for now. We'll talk to you later. All right, folks, as we speed up the video again here, I'll bring up another topic that may be of interest here. I think I mentioned at one point that I did run out of propane in my main bottle, which is a 30-pound bottle. That's my main source of propane on the trip. It lasted me for 20 days on this last trip, which isn't too bad. The previous couple of trips that I did in 2022, I got 25 days out of them, but those were summer and spring weather, which is a little bit more moderate. So 20 days up to a maximum of 25 days. So I bring along the fire ring, which has an 11-pound bottle as its source of propane. And I always question whether to bring it because it is heavy. But it saved my neck on this trip and the previous trip, so it does benefit to have that. Okay, here we are coming up on the border, so we'll stop for now and talk about some things again tomorrow.
What are you doing?
Howdy. Doing fine.
Well, how do you see the steer?
That's in the back.
Look out the window?
It's in the back. The next is on top there.
All typical.
Yeah, the wheels are behind the cabin on the right-hand side.
Okay, right up. Nice. How long have you been up in Canada?
3 weeks up on Temagami.
Hate to be coming back.
I hate coming back, but the weather was not good.
Yes, pretty unpredictable, isn't it?
A lot of rain up there.
Yeah. Welcome back. Well,
Thank you.
For that, in case
All right.
you had to be floating.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Hello.
Hi there. Thank you and have a good day.
You too.